You think you know me?
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. We're doing another update on the Chonda. I did a little bit on the other side with the sprocket. I'll show you that in a minute. Changed out to a 17.2 sprocket. I also updated my air intake. Now I wasn't a fan of having the air intake exposed to the elements, so I'm going to show you what I did now. Alright, what I did is I actually moved the air intake, the cone filter up here from Nibbi, and I actually bought 3 new stainless steel clamps off of eBay. I bought this intake, 1 3/4 inch intake. I believe I got this also off of eBay, and there's an aluminum piece in here about 3 inches long. I'll show you pictures of everything, and of course I'll put everything links in the description what I did. There's the filter. It's going to be behind the 2 covers. I also bought this off of Amazon too. Since the air box is gone, I no longer have an inner fender. So I got this plastic here that I fit, and I zip tied it in there. So that'll protect the filter. So basically, once I put the seat on, once I put the side covers on, the filter is actually going to be completely protected from the elements. I mean, there's still a little bit of a gap there, but the odds of stuff getting up in there are pretty slim once it's all covered up. Of course, as you can see here, the new name of the bike is Yomoma, which is just funny. But I don't have my sprocket cover back on yet. That's getting painted. I'll show you a picture of that. That's going to be going back on here soon. But you see, I got my side covers back on. That'll protect the intake from this side, and it'll protect the intake from this side. But see, the bike's almost done. I still have to modify the seat. That's going to be one of the last projects I do. Right there, for the time being anyway. I want to be able to ride this. I haven't ridden it since February. Let's go ahead and fire this up for the first time. Started right up. All right, here we are, folks. We're midway through changing the front sprocket. The DLX comes with a 16.2 sprocket on the front. I'm putting a 17 on there. What I'm trying to do is get a little bit more top speed. Later on, I'll probably change out the chain to a little bit better chain and probably move to like a 45 tooth rear sprocket. But this bike already went like 65 miles an hour. You know, with me, 250 pounds and a full tuck, it would cruise 60 miles an hour pretty easily. And actually, I want to get it to cruise even easier, you know. I don't plan on trail racing this thing or nothing, so I kind of want a little bit more top-end speed with it with all the other modifications I did. Now, I took the sprocket cover off. I'm already painting that. If you remember, I had battery acid had leaked on the sprocket cover when I first got the bike. Go back and check out that video. And of course, the cover's held on with 2 10mm bolts. And of course, this is the new sprocket, the 17 tooth. Those are 10mm screws. You're reusing those. The sprocket didn't come with them that I bought. JT Sprocket 17 tooth. I got it off of Amazon. Pretty cheap upgrade. Make sure when you slide it on there, you slide it all the way back and then put this part on afterwards. And then you just slide it in the groove and you tighten it down to line it up after. It won't line up at first until you make sure you got this part holding it in there, the retainer, and then you can line everything up, bolt it in, and now it's on there solid. And yes, it will have a little bit of play in it, so don't worry about that. Now it's just a matter of getting the chain back on there and line back up, and we'll be able to test her out. Okay, the easiest thing to do when you're doing this to get your chain back on here, this is going to be really tight with the chain on the DLX going from a 16 to a 17. There's not a lot of room. So what I did is I took the rear axle out so I can move the wheel forward all the way, and I took the part off here completely so I could actually pull a sprocket out, get the chain on there, push it back in, and then line everything back up with the groove before tightening it down. And then of course you're going to go back in and put your rear axle back in, line the chain back up. And of course, one word of advice I have, folks, before you do take off your axle to do all this, I marked outside the guide to give me an idea of you want to have your chain and everything lined back up. It'll be pretty close to the original. I only changed 1 tooth, so it shouldn't be too much of a change on that. Should be much of a chain. That shouldn't be too much of a change on that. But I did do a line on front and back of where this goes. I'm adjusting the chain based off of that now. Like I said, it shouldn't change too much, only doing a 1 tooth difference.